Welcome to Keys to a Good Timed Writing. We're going to go over together some things that you should do in order to help sow the seeds of your success. And it begins actually with sowing the seeds of success throughout the unit. Guys, there's absolutely no surprises when it comes to students' performance on timed writings. If you do the things that you need to do throughout the course of the unit, you should be fine. Make sure that you're proactive in asking questions of your instructors when it comes to misconceptions that you might have or difficulty that you're having with the material. Guys, we're here to help you. We want to help enable your success. Secondly, make sure that you relax. Panic makes cowards of us all, and all worrying ever does is rob you of the chance to be happy between when you start worrying and what you're worrying about either happens or doesn't happen. So don't panic, just relax. And the third thing we're going to do, and we're going to do this together, you're going to let the rubric be your guide. We're going to go over the rubric together, step by step, in the different mark band ranges, so you can see exactly what we're looking for. The place to begin is the place where none of you really want to be, and that's the F range of performance. It begins with no attempt at all being made to answer the question, or the response just being flatly inappropriate. And it moves along to the 20s, 40s, and 50s range of performance, indicating very little understanding of the question or the command term, not really doing what we're asking you to do at all. Using few in-class materials, little to no evidence, it's a series of unsupported assertions with little or no attempt to incorporate anything that's relevant in terms of answering the question. And any use of technical vocabulary that's either attempted or not attempted is bad. This is where you don't want to be. You also don't want to really be in the 60s range either. 60s range performances are no bueno, and they begin with little understanding of the command term. Guys, there's a ton of resources that we have provided for you in terms of the demands of the command term. We're going to do a lot of in-class work on command terms. It's expected that you understand what the command terms are asking you to do. The answer in a 60s range response, to summarize it for you, it's narrative, it's descriptive. It doesn't really use any sort of evidence. There's no historical fact. You're just kind of telling me a story. Women used to not have the right to vote. Now women have the right to vote. Happily ever after, the dish ran away with the spoon. There's so much more to that story of women's liberation and women's suffrage, and you've got to provide it. Right? We're looking for specific evidence from primary or secondary documents, things that we do in class, and guys, 10th grade expectation, you're incorporating unit-specific research outside of class, stuff that you're bringing to the table that you know. You also need to make sure that you're using appropriate technical vocabulary. Guys, let's move out of the D, F range and into the C range. Your response gets better in the C range, though it's really not that great. You're using some of those in-class materials. You're using some of that unique student-specific out-of-class research. There's some attempt to incorporate some technical vocabulary. You're doing some of the right things, though you're really not doing all of them. There's really no attempt in terms of integrating varied interpretations, counterclaims, if you will, a consideration of a balanced approach to answering your question or dealing with your command term. It's sort of a general understanding. You're getting warmer, but you're not really there. There's some structure, there's a little organization, but your focus really isn't consistent, and you're not going back to your original thesis throughout your paper. You're not substantiating the overall point that you said you were going to try to make in your introduction. So it's doing some of the right things, but it's not doing nearly enough of them. Out of the C range we go, and into the B range we go, and some of what you're starting to see is starting to look pretty good. Some real quality 10th grade work. You're using substantial evidence. It's ample from in-class materials, stuff we've all gone over, plus those things that you uniquely are bringing to the table as an historian. There's an attempt, better attempt, to correctly use technical vocabulary. We'll forgive an error here or there in the B range in the 10th grade. Original synthesis is going to be used here to form your thesis, and your argument is present. It's there. It may not consistently be there throughout your paper at all times, but it's there. There's an attempt in the B range to use varied interpretations. There's an understanding that historians or parties to history look at events differently, and you integrate this rather into your analysis. There's structure, there's organization, there is focus toward addressing your command term. There may be some inconsistency. This isn't perfect. In fact, no paper really ever is perfect. But you're getting better. There's more good stuff here. There's better evidence, there's better reasoning, there's better clarity, and you're starting to prove an overall point. Good stuff. Now let's transition from the B range, really good responses in the 10th grade, to the A range. What are really good responses in the 10th grade? And if you take a look at the rubric here, there should be some things that pop off your screen and just jump out at you right away. Most in-class materials, either lectures or sources, being applied consistently and convincingly. You're like proving a point to me here. Excellent stuff. Evidence used appropriately to support an overall argument. Relevant events and people incorporated. The technical vocabulary use is correct and appropriate. Original synthesis, this is your argument, being well developed. You've walked me through and held my hand through your argument. You've used your unit-specific research effectively. I mean, it really helps to support what you're doing. You have a keen awareness of the varied interpretations of events by historians and by parties to history, and your answers have good structure, they're focused, and they're clearly expressed. You have very little to no spelling grammatical errors. This, guys, is an A-timed writing. It's also eminently achievable. And achievable as it may be, it requires a tremendous amount of consistency and hard work throughout the course of your unit. It also requires you to be a proactive advocate for yourself. It's a big developmental point in the 10th grade. So please, as always, don't forget, come see us during seminar. Shoot us an email. If you've got questions or concerns, if you're unsure about something, come see us before or after school. We are here to help you be successful, but it starts with you taking those first affirmative steps. And remember, slow and steady wins this race. Make sure you're doing everything we ask you to do throughout the course of the unit.